Hi guys, welcome back. We're here with Nathan from Everybody Rocks, and we have a cool, what is this? I don't know what this is.
This is a bass guitar, all right?
Oh.
Bass.
It's a little bit different than a regular guitar. So I've got a regular guitar right here. You can see that there are some similarities and some differences. A bass guitar has less strings. So a bass guitar has 4 strings, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a regular guitar has 6. Also, the main thing about the bass guitar is that the notes are a little lower sounding. So if I play the lowest note on a guitar, a regular guitar, and then I play the lowest note on a bass, you can hear that it's a lot lower, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about the bass with you today because sometimes, unfortunately, the bass can get overlooked. And that's just not right, because the bass is just as important as anything else in a band, right? So the bass guitar is similar to a guitar, like we said, with strings and these little boxes on the neck that are called frets. We press down on the strings just like we would on a regular guitar. The difference between a bass and a regular guitar is that on a regular guitar, you're playing a lot of strings at once. We call those chords. And on a bass guitar, you don't play chords unless you're in a rock and roll band called Dinosaur Jr. None of us are in that band, so we don't play chords on the bass, and I'll show you why. Chords on the bass can sound a little strange. It sounds kind of muddy and weird. It doesn't really work. So what bass players do is we play one note at a time instead of a bunch of notes at once. And the bass's function in a group is that if you have guitars and then you have drums, the bass links the instruments that play chords like guitars and pianos with the drums. So it's considered part of the rhythm section, but it's also a stringed instrument, right?
I see.
So it's keeping rhythm with the drums. So if you ever look at a video of a band playing on a stage or something like that, you'll almost always see the bass player beside the drummer because they work together all the time. They're driving the rhythm of the song, okay? But like I said, it's got strings and frets like a regular guitar, so it's also a little bit of guitar. So it links the two things together. But it also gets buried a lot of times. We don't necessarily listen to the bass when we're listening to a song. So sometimes it's good to demonstrate that you have heard the bass before. And the best way that I think we can do that is to play a little Name That Tune. Okay? So have you ever heard this song? It goes, let's see.
Yeah.
You ever heard that song? Yeah?
Yeah, Another One Bites the
Queen?
Dust by Queen.
Yeah.
Another One Bites the Dust by Queen, that's right. Or the Weird Al version is another one, what is it?
Ride the bus.
Another one rides the bus. That's right, that's right. So that's an example of where we've heard the bass out in the real world and it's not covered up by the drums and everything else, right?
Yeah.
Here's another one. Let's see if you've heard this one before.
The name is escaping me.
I was just gonna say,
But it's like the
totally could not tell you
it's
what
the
it's
part
called.
everybody sings.
Right, it's
Sing
the part
bass
everybody
line.
sings. What's the name of that song?
The Salvation Army.
Oh, it's so close. It's almost Salvation Army. It's Seven Nation Army.
Seven
Oh.
Nation Army.
By the-
Seven
by
Nation
the
Army
White-
by the White Stripes, right?
There we go.
Yeah, that's another song that we've heard a lot of times.
Wow.
And it starts with the bass, right? So it's fun to kind of take the bass out of the group and hear it on its own a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a bass, and it's pretty cool. I have found in my teaching over the years that bass players oftentimes at a very young age know that they're bass players. There's a certain kind of person that's like, that's the instrument that I want to play right there. That's the one.
Interesting.
And it's kind of like banjo players. Like people hear a banjo and they're like, yep, there's a banjo. But some people are like, that's what I want. It's very similar with the bass. Like
Yeah.
there's a certain thing with playing bass that's pretty cool.
It feels really different because it's so deep. Like it
Right.
definitely like feels different. Like when
Yeah.
you listen to it, like I can see how somebody can be like, that feels good. Like,
Right,
I want to play
exactly,
that. Yeah.
exactly. And if you think about the drums, like a drum set, some drums sound real low. Like the kick drum is like do do do, right? And so the kick drum and the bass are similar in that way. They take that low frequency, those low sounds, and fill up that area. You know?
Yeah.
Kind of like grounds the whole song almost.
It is.
So that
yeah.
other things can flourish around it. Not that the bass shouldn't, but yeah, I see why it can feel like buried.
Yeah.
Right. Oftentimes I think of the bass as like the glue of a group, right? It keeps everything connected together. It keeps the guitars working with the drums. It keeps the drums working with everything else. That's kind of how I think of the bass, you know.
Well, do you have one more song to maybe show us? Maybe.
Oh, let's see. I'm going to play my favorite song to play on the bass, my favorite little riff to play. I don't know. I hope that somebody recognizes it. So, okay, here we go.
I know it, but it's escaping me again. You gotta give me the first letter.
Do you know it?
I know it.
What is it?
Well, I know it, but I can't remember.
Oh, you can't remember it? Okay, okay.
Superstition, Stevie Wonder.
That's it.
Nice.
It's Superstition by Stevie Wonder. Awesome,
Job,
awesome.
Sai.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that's the little riff for Stevie Wonder's Superstition, which is just such a great song. Awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what a bass does.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. I think we learned a lot here today. So pick up your basses, guys.